This is your news source evening bulletin for today, Monday, the 17th day of May in the year 2021. I'm Gordon Mosley. Here's what we're tracking tonight. 45 coronavirus-related deaths have been recorded since the start of May, as a surge in new cases and deaths continue to grip the country. 3 deaths were reported today by the Health Ministry. In the latest data released by the Ministry of Health, 81 new cases were also detected in the past 24 hours, pushing the total number of new cases confirmed in the past 2 weeks to more than 2,000. This evening, there are 1,928 active cases of COVID-19 in Guyana, with 106 of those persons in hospital, while the remaining 1,822 positive cases are isolating at home. The Pan American Health Organization has reported that based on the increase in cases and deaths, it has become clearer that a Brazilian variant of the virus is in Guyana. The Ministry of Health is still to confirm the new variant. The Health Ministry, however, continues to push for more persons to get vaccinated. The Health Minister has said the country has procured enough vaccines to reach herd immunity against the virus. However, there is still a problem of vaccine hesitancy.
We also know that for those who received their Sputnik V or Sinopharm vaccines, by now their second dose would have fallen due as well. And we want to encourage them to check their vaccination cards to make sure that they know the date when they have to come back and get their second dose, because for those 2 vaccines, it's a shorter time frame, it's 4 weeks, and we want to make sure that people get their second dose within that time frame, because that's when the vaccine would be able to work optimally.
Today, another large shipment of the Sputnik V vaccine arrived in Guyana. Health officials continue to encourage persons to practice the safety guidelines that will keep them safe. Calls, however, are ongoing for there to be more enforcement of the COVID-19 guidelines as the country continues to see a spike in new cases. More news coming up in just a moment.
Guyana, we've been through it all.
But as a people, we have
weathered every storm
and risen to every challenge.
Because it is the people of Guyana
that gives it its strength.
All the people,
regardless of race,
class, or religion.
We are one people, one strength.
And now is our time. A time to rise. Together, we rise.
Me name Radhika, right? And me just get my COVID-19 vaccine. Me turn rich and me take my COVID-19 vaccine, right? And me want to encourage everybody out there to come and take your COVID-19 vaccine, because COVID-19 not discrimination, you know. Anybody can get them, no matter what race you be, no matter what color you be, even matter what gender you be, anybody can get COVID-19. So I come and I take your vaccine then, because it's very important for take it. But remember that when you take your vaccine, that doesn't mean that you can just stop wear your mask and stop sanitizing and say you still got to take all the precautions. Nothing is 100% foolproof, but the vaccine is important for how you take. Here, Radhika says so.
Mobil 1 is more than oil. It's many oils. It transforms at the molecular level. When cold, it's thicker than honey. When hot, it's thinner than water. Mobil 1 adapts and readapts to last longer. 16,000 kilometers between oil changes. That's your engine evolved.
Sol Guyana is the authorized distributor of Mobil lubricants.
At Sosh Financial, we create strategies for strengthening business and personal finances while helping our clients to build sustainable wealth. Our financial and business consultancy services are uniquely tailored to ensure every client receives quality packages and optimal results. Our financial services include financial reporting and analysis, financial status assessment, internal audits, bookkeeping and records management, financial planning advice, tax returns. Our business advisory services are related to business plans, business startups, operational improvement, business management, document preparation, procedures development, efficient marketing, Call or WhatsApp us today for your free consultation on telephone number 592-665-6045. Sash Financial, strengthening businesses, building wealth.
We are legions of men standing strong, but never too proud to stoop and help someone. We must send a clear signal to all. Do right, walk in upright ways, knowing that's what being a man is all about. And ever aware that things will only get worse when good men do nothing. Stand strong, be the one to live right.
Mom, what are you doing with GPL on your list?
Child, you forgot I have to pay GPL?
You got time with GPL?
I have to keep these lights on. The customers who think in that manner and refuse to honor their obligation to GPL are obviously not playing their part in ensuring quality service delivery. So, I will continue to pay my GPL bill on time, every time.
I recognize the value of your point, Mom. You were right.
Let's tell you now that the upcoming Diaspora Conference will be seeking to strengthen ties between Guyanese abroad and their homeland. It will offer investment and business opportunities as well as various initiatives that benefit migrants and investors. Foreign Secretary Robert Poussaint today said there is a need for members of the diaspora to play a key role in aiding Guyana's national development.
And this conference seeks to provide a platform whereby persons in the diaspora can contribute to national development and exchange with key government officials. Our government is committed to strengthening relations with the diaspora and is pursuing its involvement in the country's transformational and developmental agendas. It is well documented that the Guyanese diaspora are highly skilled, patriotic, and have a great desire to contribute. The upcoming inaugural virtual Diaspora Conference concretizes the government's efforts to strengthen ties and harness the expertise, talent, and investment resources within the global diaspora.
A number of government officials, including the President and the Vice President, will make presentations and engage with participants during the virtual Diaspora Conference. The Foreign Secretary said the conference will be an engaging one that will also be results-oriented and not another talk shop.
We expect from this conference to use the feedback so that it can impact on the government plans for further engagement, and it will allow our new unit, the Diaspora Unit, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to be much more responsive and focus on the needs of the global diaspora. It is envisioned that the conference will help to assure the diaspora of the government's commitment to fostering a deepened and sustained relationship to allow their participation in the country's development.
The conference, which is set to take place on the 22nd of May, will also see participation from a number of government agencies, including the Guyana Office for Investment and the Guyana Revenue Authority. A number of foreign missions in Guyana are also expected to participate. The Foreign Ministry is hoping to see as many as 1,000 groups or persons participating in the virtual event. More than 500 have already registered. Information on the registration process is available on the Ministry of Foreign Affairs website and its social media pages. Over the years, there have been several efforts to engage the Guyanese in the diaspora on major issues of national development. The last government also hosted a diaspora conference. The Central Housing and Planning Authority of the Ministry of Housing today launched a $3.9 million employment stimulation project in Tiger Bay. The community-based initiative focuses on providing jobs for residents in vulnerable communities through the Housing Ministry's Housing Drive. Under the initiative, a concrete block making project will be established to make the products available for houses being built by the government. Speaking during the launch of the project, the Housing Minister Colin Crowell said the government has recognized the need for an improved standard of living and the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic on the lives of citizens countrywide. He said the project is therefore a timely response and will see the employment of hundreds of persons over the next few years.
The vision of His Excellency, which when it comes to fruition, will mean steady employment, better communities, and of course, stronger value families. The construction sector, as you know, is taking off once again, and the demands are many. Participation in this activity will allow those of you who are willing to make the commitment to become exposed to the world of work in a much more structured manner.
The minister told the residents that the launching that the government will provide critical support for them to become entrepreneurs. He said there is a great demand for hollow blocks in the housing sector, and he pledged his ministry's full commitment to provide the materials so that persons are willing to take up the challenge at no cost to them.
One such demand that I'm alluding to is the demand for blocks. There is an immediate demand for 123,000 for the houses that are just being built in two communities, that is Cummins Lodge and Prospect. How do we meet this demand? We have decided to come to you, the block makers within your communities, to fill the demand. If you are not already a block maker, you have this, but you have the skill, maybe you have been working for someone. Now is a good time to become an entrepreneur.
The project will run until 2025 at an estimated cost of $20 million. $3.9 million has been allotted to the pilot project this year. Phase 1 will span from May to November of this year, with an expected 80 direct beneficiaries. The Housing Authority will be partnering with vulnerable communities, block makers, the Guyana National Bureau of Standards, contractors, hardware suppliers, and stand suppliers to execute the project. Minister within the Ministry of Housing, Susan Rodriguez.
We in the Ministry of Housing and Water are doing our part to contribute to the bigger vision or the bigger accomplishment of ensuring that we create those job opportunities for our people. And so we chose the most vulnerable communities because we are convinced as a government that we need to improve lives, that we need to improve the standard of living of our people.
Target communities identified so far are Tiger Bay, Old Boys Town, East and West Rhymeville, Sophia, Agricola, Mucka, Lusignan, and Buxton. Communities in Regions 6 and 10 have also been earmarked to benefit from the initiative. The shooting death of a suspect by the police while in custody has triggered an investigation by the Police Office of Professional Responsibility. 2 police officers are on the close arrest tonight. 42-year-old Kitty resident Peter Headley was shot dead by the police on Saturday night after he was arrested on suspicion of being in possession of a stolen television set. The man and a friend were stopped by the police and separated, with a friend being arrested and placed in a police vehicle, while Headley, who was driving his own car, was moved over to the front passenger seat as a police officer took over the driver's seat and another police officer sat in the back. The police claimed that during the trip to the police station, the suspect was spotted reaching under his seat and pulling out what the police claim appeared to be a firearm. The man was shot dead by the police officer sitting behind him. The police statement did not make any reference to any weapon being found in the vehicle. News source understands that there was no weapon found in the vehicle. Meanwhile, relatives of the dead man are saying they are not buying the police version of the events. They believe that the man was cold-bloodedly murdered.
That they murdered him, whatever reason, I don't know, but they murdered him. Whoever did it, they have his phone also, and we need justice. This is not fair for just stop somebody and then they die. Even if whatever they are alleging, they have a law to guide everything. You don't just kill people like that.
The Guyana Police Force has since announced that the shooting death is being probed by its Office of Professional Responsibility. A Sophia mother who lost her 9-year-old son on Sunday after he was crushed by a garbage truck when he fell off his bicycle said the death is unbearable and she has been left with a deep wound in her heart. The young boy Inam Holder was riding his bicycle when he reportedly hit a patch of mud on the roadway and fell in the pathway of the garbage truck. He was crushed and pronounced dead at the scene after emergency services were summoned. Today, his mother, Roxanne Holder, said she will never forget seeing her son's lifeless body pinned onto the truck. She said she lost consciousness at the scene of the accident. Fighting back tears today, she also said she has been left heartbroken and more than sad.
It's like if somebody take away my heart. Because every night he would come and hug me up, mommy, how you doing things. Even if I ever feeling sad and all too, he would always come and reach out to me. He would hug me, he would kiss me. He's a pleasant child.
The mother remembers her young son as someone with great potential who was always pleasant and jovial, adding that like anyone his age, he loved to play in the outdoors, but he was also good in school.
He's not a sickly child. He's always a wealthy child. He always a wealthy child. He like playing. And he have one little nephew. His nephew name is Addy. He would like, if he see Addy, he would, Mommy, where Addy there? Mommy, where Addy there? Say, man, Addy there by his grandmother. And he come home. From the time he come home is where Addy there.
The grieving mother said it will be tough to move on, but she will always remember her young, joyful son. The Guyana Police Force has indicated that the matter is still under police investigation. The African Cultural Development Association, ACDA, and the recently formed Electoral Reform Group, which is headed by governance consultant Lawrence Lachman Singh, have joined the list of organizations expressing reservations about the electoral reform project being led by the US-based International Republican Institute. ACDA has rejected the IRI's involvement in electoral reform in Guyana, while the ERG said it is uncomfortable with the project under the IRI's lead. For its part, ACDA said that it believes the 18-month US-funded project is part of a plan by the government that stretches beyond just electoral reforms. The group said it views the exclusion of African organizations and other stakeholders and the parliamentary opposition from the initial process as an attempt to undermine the fundamental interests of the African community and other groups. ACDA said even if the APNU AFC decides to support the project, it will not give the project its blessings. Meanwhile, the Electoral Reform Group said that to truly transform the prospects for Guyanese, electoral reform must embrace principles such as accountability, inclusiveness, stability, and transparency, noting that any reform which fails to address the country's political conditions and lay the groundwork for constructive governance would be worse than no reform. The group noted that the project in its current form runs the risk of hardening the political chasm currently blocking electoral reform. Further, the group said the reform, which appears to focus heavily on the Elections Commission, is necessary to avoid the troubles of the 2020 elections. Electoral reform must address, the group noted, the underlying weaknesses of the electoral system that are responsible for the political dysfunction standing in the way of national development. The Guyana Police Force issued a wanted bulletin for this man today. His name is Kevin Adams. His last known address is 51 Victory Valley, Wismalinden, and he is wanted in connection with manslaughter committed on Samuel De Souza. The incident took place back in March in Wismalinden, and the man has not been seen since. The Guyana Police Force is asking that anyone with information about his whereabouts to contact the nearest police station or call 911 or 442-0759. And the Guyana Police Force is also looking for this Lindoner. His name is Nikolai Cameron, and he is wanted by the police for questioning in relation to rape. He's 29 years old and his last known address is given as 28 Blueberry Hill, Wismalinden. The Guyana Police Force is asking that anyone with information on his whereabouts to contact the nearest police station or call 911.
Hi there, I'm Narissa Pearson, a broadcaster by profession and radio personality on 98.1 Hot FM of NCN. I just received my vaccine And the process was pretty simple and easy. I will admit I was very nervous. I was very terrified to get a shot. It wasn't about the fact it's a COVID-19 vaccine, but just my fear with getting a vaccine generally since I was a child. But it was a really simple process, and I want to encourage a lot of people out there to get vaccinated. As we continue to cope and deal with COVID-19 and its impact, I firmly believe that we should all take whatever precautions, whatever access we have towards mitigating the spread of this virus, and more so its impact on our lives and our health. So I'm very, very happy to have been vaccinated, and I hope a lot of people out there come and get their vaccines as well. I look forward to getting my second dose on this page so that I can really have a proper defense system against COVID-19.
Across the region, Brazil recorded more than 40,000 new confirmed cases of coronavirus in the past 24 hours, along with more than 1,000 deaths from COVID-19, the health ministry there has confirmed. Brazil has now registered over 15 million cases since the pandemic started, and the official death toll stands at 435,751. That's according to the Ministry of Health in Brazil. The worrying situation in the country is being given extra attention from the World Health Organization and other international bodies. The country is trying to get a vaccination program on the way to effectively tackle the spread of the virus. In Chile, independent and opposition candidates have won a key 2/3 of seats in the body that will write a new constitution in Chile. A new constitution is to replace the one dating back to General Pinochet's military rule, was a crucial demand of protests which swept the country in 2019. Government-backed candidates have only secured about a fourth of the seats. That is short of the number which would have made it possible for them to block sweeping changes. The right-wing president in Chile, Sebastián Piñera, said it was a historic election in which citizens had sent a clear message, and his government and other traditional parties were not attuned to the demands and aspirations of the people. And finally tonight, international news. The UN, the US and the UK have called for more protection for the civilians caught in intense violence between Israel and Palestinian militants. Footage of children being pulled from the rubble in Gaza and people running for shelter in Israel have sparked international alarm. The conflict is now in its second week, with little sign of a ceasefire. More than 212 persons, including 61 children, have died in Gaza, and 10 persons, including 2 children, in Israel. Israel says most of those killed in Gaza are militants, and that any civilian deaths are unintentional. The militant group that runs the territory, Hamas, does not acknowledge that explanation from Israel. In the wee hours of this morning, Israel conducted dozens more airstrikes on the Gaza Strip after Palestinian militants fired a barrage of rockets at southern Israeli cities. There is mounting international concern over the violence, with world leaders and humanitarian organizations urging for measures to be taken to avoid residents being hurt or killed. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. I'm Gordon Mosley, wishing you a pleasant rest of the night and encouraging you to stay safe.